Hello and welcome to the In Need of Sunlight guide for the Fallen Protectors in Siege of Orgrimmar 25-man. This fight consists of 3 bosses, who each have separate health pools and skill sets. Their names are Rook Stonetoe, He Softfoot, and Sun Tenderheart. Despite having separate health pools, each of these bosses cannot be killed individually. They share a spiritual bond linking their fates to each other, and upon reaching 1 health, each of them will begin to cast Bond of the Golden Lotus if any of the other bosses are still in combat. This will restore 20% of the boss's maximum health when it is completed. It is uninterruptible, unstunnable, and cannot be stopped without killing all of the protectors at the same time. Bringing all 3 protectors to 1 health at the exact same time will restore clarity to their clouded minds, ending the fight. At 66 and 33% health remaining, each boss will perform desperate measures, in turn activating an ability individual to the boss. Activating 2 of these abilities at once is not recommended. First of all, Rook Stonetoe. At 66 and 33% health, he will spawn 3 adds, named Embodied Misery, Embodied Sorrow, and Embodied Gloom, each with their own individual effects. Embodied Misery has an ability called Defiled Ground. It will inflict 350,000 physical damage to its current target, knocking them back. The area of ground they were stood on will then become burnt, inflicting 100,000 shadow damage every second to any player stood on it. Embodied Sorrow has an incredibly dangerous ability called Inferno Strike. It will cast a massive fire damage spell at 1 target, dividing 1.2 million fire damage among all players within 8 yards, so stack or die. Embodied Gloom has a far less dangerous ability called Corruption Shock. It will hurl a bolt of corrupted lightning at several locations, inflicting 150,000 nature damage to all enemies within 4 yards. He Softfoot. At 66 or 33% health, he will spawn 1 add, who will fixate on 1 member of the raid, usually a DPS, dealing massive damage. The fixated player will gain Mark of Anguish, a debuff that periodically inflicts 50,000 shadow damage every second and roots the target. The marked player will also gain the ability to transfer this mark to another friendly player within 30 yards by using the action button that will appear on the screen. As the add attacks the fixated player, it will periodically inflict Lingering Anguish, which will increase damage taken by Mark of Anguish by 35%, stacking. 1 stack of Lingering Anguish is applied to all raid members when the Mark of Anguish is passed on. Any player who gains Mark of Anguish will also gain Debilitation, decreasing their armor by 50% for 2 minutes. Sun Tenderheart. Upon reaching 66 or 33% health remaining, Sun Tenderheart will spawn 2 adds, Embodied Despair and Embodied Desperation. Once both of these adds are defeated, the phase will end. While these adds are alive, Sun Tenderheart will enter a dark meditation, inflicting shadow damage to all enemies every half second. Players will take 35% less damage from this effect while inside her meditative field, which will look like a bubble in the center of the boss's room. Outside of desperate measures, Sun Tenderheart will also cast an ability called Shadow Word Bane, which will deal 100,000 shadow damage every 3 seconds for 18 seconds on the player targeted. Each time the effect deals damage to a player, it will jump to an additional player, up to a total of 3 times. This effect must be dispelled as quickly as possible.